Listen, I know what you are thinking. Another story about humans. Another tale about those ridiculous, soft-skinned bipeds who somehow managed to claw their way up from a backwater planet and make the entire galaxy sit up and pay attention. But trust me, this one's different. This one's about the day the music stopped. The day Commander Alexis Kane disappeared and the universe held its breath. My name is Vorthak. I'm a Keltharian, which means I have 4 arms, excellent peripheral vision, and absolutely zero patience for mystery. We Keltharians pride ourselves on logic, order, and a good solid meal of fermented protein paste. We do not, I repeat, do not appreciate drama. But humans, oh, they brought drama by the shipload. I was serving as the 2nd intelligence officer aboard the Galactic Council monitoring station Epsilon 9 when it happened. Boring job, right? Wrong, dead wrong, because on that station we tracked every single human military vessel in the outer sectors, all 47 of them. And on that day something happened that shouldn't have been possible. The human flagship, the Valiant Dawn, simply vanished. Not destroyed, not damaged, not reporting technical difficulties. Vanished. Poof. Gone. Like someone had reached into space and plucked it out like a flower from a garden. Vorthak, you need to see this, my colleague Pinnox said, her tentacles quivering with what I recognized as anxiety. Pinnox was a Querlon, all tentacles and bioluminescent patterns, and she never got anxious. Never. She analyzed data. She reported findings. She did not quiver. I moved to her station, my 4 arms already pulling up holographic displays. What am I looking at? The Valiant Dawn. It was on routine patrol in the Helix Nebula region. Standard formation, standard speed, standard everything. Then at 0900 hours, nothing. The signal just stopped. Stopped how? I asked, scrolling through the telemetry data. Equipment failure. Solar interference? No interference. No failure signatures. No distress calls. No debris field. No energy spikes. No gravitational anomalies. Vorthak, it's like the ship ceased to exist. I felt my secondary heart skip a beat. In my 400 years of service, I had never seen anything like this. What about the escort ships? Pinnox's bioluminescence flickered blue, which meant she was about to say something I really wouldn't like. They vanished too, all 3 of them. Same moment. Same coordinates. Same absolutely nothing to explain it. 4 ships. 4 human warships, including their flagship, gone. Get me Admiral Torvin, I said. My primary arms already working the communications array. Now, Admiral Torvin was a drachmith, which meant he was roughly the size of a small shuttle and had a temper to match. He also had the unfortunate responsibility of being the Galactic Council's liaison to the human military. Unfortunate because humans were, well, humans, unpredictable, emotional, prone to doing things that made absolutely no tactical sense but somehow worked anyway. His scaled face appeared on my screen, and I could see the stress already etched in his features. You have seen it then. Seen it? Admiral, I'm staring at the biggest gap in our monitoring grid since the Xyloth incursion. What in the 17 hells happened out there? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Vorthak, the human admiralty is going insane. Commander Kane had over 3,000 crew aboard the Valiant Dawn. The escort ships had another 900 between them. That's almost 4,000 humans just gone. I pulled up Kane's file. Alexis Kane, age 42 in human years. Decorated veteran of the First Contact Wars, 3 commendations for tactical brilliance, 2 for what humans called extraordinary bravery, which usually meant doing something suicidally stupid that somehow worked out. Height 1.75 meters. Dark hair. Gray eyes that apparently could freeze subordinates at 20 paces. Known for being calm under pressure and having what her personnel file an unfortunate tendency towards sarcasm. Humans loved their sarcasm. What was Kane's mission profile, I asked. Torvin's expression darkened. Standard patrol. The Helix Nebula has been quiet since we established the treaty with the Core Collective. No hostile activity. No unusual readings. Nothing that would suggest an ambush. Then what are we dealing with? A new threat? A weapon we don't know about? I don't know, Vorthak. But here's what worries me. In the last 6 hours since the disappearance, every single human military installation has gone dark. Complete communications blackout. My mandibles clicked together involuntarily. Define dark. I mean, they are not responding to hails. They are not filing reports. They are not updating their status. They are just sitting there running on automated protocols and saying absolutely nothing. That's not standard procedure. No, it's not. And it gets weirder. Human civilian traffic is normal. Human commercial vessels are operating as usual. Human colony transmissions are nominal. It's only the military. Like someone flipped a switch and told every human soldier, sailor, and pilot in the galaxy to shut up. I felt a chill run through my exoskeleton. Humans didn't do coordinated silence. Humans argued. Humans debated. Humans sent 17 different messages, saying the same thing in slightly different ways just to make sure you understood. Silence from humans was like silence from a supernova. It meant something catastrophic was coming. I need to go to the source, I said, making a decision that would probably shorten my lifespan considerably. I need to go to Earth. Torvin's eyes widened. Earth? Vorthak, humans don't let anyone into their home system without explicit permission. The Sol system is locked down tighter than a Vorlian treasure vault. You will be turned away before you even reach the outer markers. Then I will call in a favor. What favor? I allowed myself a small smile, which probably looked terrifying given my facial structure. Remember that incident with the Keltharian trade delegation and the human whiskey? The one where you prevented a diplomatic catastrophe by explaining that humans consider alcohol a social lubricant rather than a biological weapon? That's the one. I may have made a friend in the human diplomatic corps, a woman named Victoria Reeves. If anyone can get me clearance to Earth, it's her. 6 hours later, I was aboard a fast courier ship heading toward the Sol system, with temporary diplomatic credentials that had been approved so quickly it made my head spin. Victoria had come through. Bless her optimistic human heart. The message she sent with the credentials was brief: get here fast. Things are moving. Things are moving. What did that mean? What things? Moving where? The approach to Earth was always intimidating. The humans had fortified their home system like it was the last fortress in the universe. Orbital defense platforms, patrol wings, sensor grids that could detect a pebble at 1,000,000 kilometers. But as my ship approached, something was different. The defenses were active, very active. Ships were moving into formation. Platforms were powering up weapons. The entire system looked like it was preparing for war. Courier vessel Keltharian 7, you are cleared for approach to Station Olympus. Maintain your current heading and do not deviate. Any course changes will be interpreted as hostile action. The voice was cold, professional, and utterly humorless. Not the usual friendly banter I'd come to expect from human traffic control. Acknowledged. Station Olympus. Maintaining heading. Can I ask what's going on out there? A pause, then negative. Proceed to Docking Bay 12. You will be met. Well, that wasn't ominous at all. Station Olympus was humanity's primary military coordination center in the Sol system. A massive structure that could house 50,000 personnel and coordinate fleet movements across a dozen sectors. I'd been here once before during a joint training exercise. It had been noisy, chaotic, full of humans rushing around with coffee cups and data pads, arguing about tactical scenarios, and making jokes I didn't understand. Now it was silent as a tomb. I was met at the airlock by 2 human soldiers in full combat armor. Not ceremonial armor. Combat armor. The kind you wore when you expected to get shot at. Vorthak of Keltharia? One asked. That's me, 4 arms, can't miss me. No smile. No response, just follow us. We walked through corridors that should have been bustling with activity. Instead, they were nearly empty. The few humans we passed moved with purpose, their faces grim. No one was talking. No one was laughing. The silence was oppressive. They brought me to a briefing room deep in the station's secure section. Inside, I found Victoria Reeves, looking about 10 years older than the last time I'd seen her. Her blonde hair was pulled back severely, and her blue eyes had dark circles under them. Vorthak, thank you for coming. Victoria, what in the name of the ancestors is going on? Where's Commander Kane? Why has the entire human military gone silent? She gestured to a chair. Sit down. This is going to take a while. I sat, my forearms folding in various states of anxiety. I'm sitting. Talk. Victoria took a breath. 3 days ago, Commander Kane received a coded transmission, origin unknown. The encryption was unlike anything we'd ever seen. Our best cryptographers spent 18 hours breaking it. What did it say? It was a set of coordinates. Nothing else. Just coordinates to a location in the Helix Nebula. The location where the Valiant Dawn disappeared. Exactly. Kane, being Kane, decided to investigate. She took the flagship and 3 escort vessels. Standard protocol for potential first contact situations. First contact? With whom? Victoria's expression hardened. We don't know. But whatever was at those coordinates, it was waiting for them. The last transmission we received from Kane was 7 words long. Which were, they were expecting us. Going dark. I felt my mandibles click together. Going dark? Victoria. 4 ships just vanished. That's not going dark, that's disappearing. We know where they are, Vorthak. I blinked. All 4 of my eyes. What? We know where the Valiant Dawn is. We have known since 10 minutes after they vanished. Kane sent a burst transmission on a secure channel before communications ceased. A single data packet with current coordinates and 1 message. Show me. Victoria pulled up a holographic display. The coordinates placed the Valiant Dawn deep in uncharted space, far beyond the Helix Nebula, a region where no one had any business, and the message, contact made. Not hostile, not friendly, evaluating. Maintain silence. Repeat. Maintain absolute silence. If you hear nothing from us in 72 hours, assume the worst and prepare. Prepare for what? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. That's the question, isn't it? Victoria said, her voice tight. Kane didn't elaborate. But she did send one more thing. A sensor reading. A partial scan of whatever she encountered out there. The hologram shifted, showing a sensor image that made absolutely no sense. It was a structure. No. Multiple structures. No. A fleet. I couldn't tell. The readings were contradictory, impossible, showing energy signatures that violated half the known laws of physics. What am I looking at? We don't know. Our analysts have been going over this for 3 days straight. Best guess. It's a vessel. Or vessels. Technology far beyond anything we have encountered. Energy output that could power a dozen solar systems, and Vorthak. It's been dormant. Dormant. Sleeping. Waiting. For something. And Kane woke it up. I sat back, my mind racing. Why the silence? Why shut down all military communications? Because Kane's last order was explicit. Total communications blackout for all military assets. No transmissions, no updates, no chatter, nothing that could give away our positions or capabilities. She thinks whatever she found might be listening. She knows it's listening. That sensor data, it includes telemetry showing active scanning of human comm frequencies. Whatever's out there was probing our networks before Kane even arrived. It's been watching us. A cold realization settled over me. How long? Victoria met my eyes. We don't know. Could be weeks. Could be years. Could be since we first ventured into space. We have no idea how long this thing has been out there, observing us. And Kane's plan is what? To negotiate. To fight. To buy us time. The 72-hour deadline? That was 3 days ago. It expired 6 hours ago. My heart stopped. Then why haven't we heard anything? Why hasn't Kane reported it? Because either she's still negotiating, she's captured, or she's dead. And until we know which, the entire human military is on standby. Every ship, every station, every soldier, ready to move at a moment's notice. Move where? To war, Vorthak. To war against something we don't understand, can't quantify, and have no idea how to fight. The door to the briefing room suddenly opened. A human officer I didn't recognize entered, his face pale. Ambassador Reeves, we have a situation. What kind of situation? The Valiant Dawn just appeared on long-range sensors. She's back in the Helix Nebula, right where she vanished. Victoria was on her feet instantly. Status, engines cold, life signs detected but minimal. No communications. She's just sitting there. And the escort ships, gone. Only the flagship returned. And I stood, my legs feeling unsteady. We need to send a recovery team. Already launched, the officer said. ETA 40 minutes. But Admiral Hayes wants you both in the command center. Now we ran. Actually ran through the corridors of Station Olympus, which was something I never thought I'd see a human ambassador do in dress uniform. The command center was pandemonium when we arrived. Dozens of officers working stations, holographic displays everywhere, And in the center of it all, a grizzled human with silver hair and more medals than I could count. Admiral Jonathan Hayes, Supreme Commander of Human Military Forces. The man who'd led humanity through the first contact wars and come out the other side with a reputation for being utterly unbreakable. Right now, he looked worried. Vorthak, good, you are here. We need a neutral observer for what's about to happen. Admiral, what's the situation? Hayes pointed to the main display. The Valiant Dawn hung in space, dark and silent. Recovery team is approaching now. Scans show 3,214 life signs aboard. That's everyone who was on the ship when it vanished. No casualties. Then why do you look like you are expecting bad news? Because, Vorthak, every single one of those life signs is in the ship's main assembly hall, all of them, together. Not moving. The implications hit me like a physical blow. They are waiting, or they are prisoners, or they are under some kind of control we don't know. The recovery team's channel crackled to life. Command, this is Recovery 1. We are docking with the Valiant Dawn now. Airlocks are responsive. No signs of damage to the hull. She looks perfect. Proceed with caution. Recovery 1. Weapons free. Acknowledged. Entering airlock now. The silence in the command center was absolute. Every eye was on the display. Every ear tuned to the channel. We are inside. Corridors empty. Emergency lighting only. Proceeding to assembly hall. Hayes leaned forward. Recovery 1, describe what you are seeing. Sir, it's strange. There's no damage anywhere. No signs of struggle. But there's something written on the walls. In multiple languages. Human languages. Galactic standard. Even languages we haven't seen before. What does it say? A pause. Then in a shaky voice, it says, we are not your enemy. We are your test. Pass it and the stars are yours. Fail and silence will reign forever. You have 1 year, choose wisely. Sir, it's repeated on every wall, every surface, hundreds of times. Hayes' jaw clenched. Get to the assembly hall, find Kane. Moving now. We are at the doors. They are sealed but responding to override codes. Opening. Another pause, longer this time. Command, you are going to want to see this. The video feed came through. The assembly hall was massive, capable of holding the entire crew, and there they were. 3,000 humans, standing in perfect formation, absolutely still, eyes closed, and in front of them, standing alone, was Commander Alexis Kane. Her eyes were open, she was staring directly at the camera, and she was smiling. Not a happy smile, not a relieved smile, a knowing smile. The smile of someone who'd seen something that changed everything. Recovery 1, this is Admiral Hayes. Report Commander Kane's status. The recovery team leader approached Kane carefully. Sir, she appears unharmed. She's breathing normally, but she's not responding to verbal commands. Can you move her? Attempting now. A pause. Sir, she won't move. It's like she's rooted to the spot. Wait, she's doing something. Her hand is moving. On the feed we watched as Kane slowly, deliberately raised her right hand. In it was a small data chip. She's holding something. A data storage device. Take it. Carefully. The team member reached out in the moment he touched the chip. Kane's smile widened. Then she spoke. Her voice was calm, measured, and absolutely terrifying. The message is for humanity only. Deliver it to Admiral Hayes. No one else views it. No one else hears it. The future of our species depends on understanding what we have been shown. We have 1 year, not a day more, not a day less. The clock starts now. Then, as if someone had flipped a switch, all 3,000 crew members opened their eyes simultaneously and collapsed to the floor. The command center erupted into chaos. Chaos. Pure, unadulterated chaos. You know what happens when 3,000 highly trained military personnel suddenly collapse in unison? Pandemonium. That's what happens. The command center of Station Olympus transformed from a model of military discipline into something resembling a disturbed insect hive. Officers shouting orders. Medical teams scrambling. Admiral Hayes bellowing for calm over the din. And me? I just stood there, all 4 of my arms hanging uselessly at my sides, watching the video feed as recovery teams rushed into the assembly hall. Get medical in there now. Hayes roared. I want full bioscans on every crew member. And somebody get me that data chip. Carefully, Victoria grabbed my upper left arm. Vorthak, what just happened? I have absolutely no idea. But whatever Kane encountered out there, It sent her back with a message, and apparently it felt the need to put her entire crew into some kind of synchronized shutdown to deliver it. The recovery team leader's voice crackled over the comm. "Admiral, we are checking vitals now." "Sir, they are all alive. Heartbeats normal. Brain activity normal. They are just unconscious." "Just unconscious," Hayes muttered. 3,000 people don't just faint at the same time because they felt like it. "What about Kane?" "Commander Kane is unconscious as well, sir. But she's still holding the data chip. We are attempting to retrieve it without causing injury." I watched the feed as gloved hands carefully pried Kane's fingers open. The chip was small, unremarkable looking. Standard human data storage, nothing special about it at all, except it might contain information that could end or save humanity. No pressure. "Get that chip to the secure analysis lab," Hayes ordered, "and get those crew members to medical. I want them monitored around the clock. If even one of them so much as twitches wrong, I want to know about it." "Sir, should we quarantine them?" Hayes hesitated. I could see the calculation in his eyes. These were his people. Soldiers who'd followed orders and walked into the unknown. But they'd also been exposed to something beyond human understanding. Yes. Full quarantine protocols. Seal off Medical Bay 7 and post guards. No one in or out without my express authorization. "Understood, sir." Victoria was already moving toward the door. "I'm going to the analysis lab." "I'm coming with you," I said. Hayes looked at me, his gray eyes sharp. "Vorthak, Kane said this message was for humanity only, and I'm the official Galactic Council observer. If whatever's on that chip affects the broader galaxy, the Council needs to know. Besides, Admiral, you might need a second opinion. Someone who isn't human. Someone who can think about this from an outside perspective." For a long moment, Hayes studied me. And he nodded. "Fine. But Victoria, if anything on that chip poses a threat to the Council, you scrub it before Vorthak sees it. Humanity's survival comes first." Understood, Admiral." The secure analysis lab was deep in the station's core, behind enough security doors and armed guards to make a paranoid dictator feel inadequate. Inside, 3 human technicians were already setting up the equipment needed to read the chip safely. Air-gapped systems, no network connection, physical isolation protocols. If this chip contained some kind of digital weapon, it wouldn't be spreading anywhere. The lead technician was a young woman with short red hair and the kind of intense focus that suggested she'd forgotten to sleep for several days. Her name tag read Okayo. "Ambassador Reeves, we are ready to proceed. Just say the word." Victoria took a breath. "Do it. Full diagnostic scan first. I want to know exactly what's on this chip before we open anything." Okoye inserted the chip into a reader. Lines of code scrolled across multiple screens. I didn't understand most of it, but I could read the technician's reactions well enough. Confusion. Then disbelief. Then fear. "What is it?" Victoria asked. "Ma'am, this chip contains one file. Just one. But the data density is impossible. This chip should hold maybe a terabyte of information. This file is compressing petabytes of data into that space. The mathematics don't work. It shouldn't be possible." "But it is possible," I said quietly, "because whoever gave Kane this chip has technology far beyond ours. Can you open the file?" Victoria pressed. "Yes. But ma'am, there's something else. The file has an encryption wrapper. Not protecting the contents. Protecting us." "Explain." Okoye pulled up a section of code. "This wrapper prevents the file from executing automatically. It requires deliberate, conscious choice to open it, and there's a message embedded in the wrapper. Plain text. Human languages only. Show me." The screen changed. Simple words appeared. White text on black background. "To the humans of Earth and her colonies. You have been evaluated. You have been measured. You have been found worthy of the test. Inside this file is knowledge. The knowledge to save your species. The knowledge to doom it. The choice is yours alone. Open this file, and the countdown begins. You have one standard Earth year to prove yourselves. Success brings ascension. Failure brings extinction. There will be no second chances. There will be no appeals. There will be only the choice you make and the consequences that follow. Choose." The lab fell silent. "Well," I said, attempting humor despite the ice forming in my veins, "that's not ominous at all. Anyone else feel like we are in a really twisted game show?" Nobody laughed. Victoria's hand was shaking slightly. "Open it." "Ma'am?" Okoye looked uncertain. Open the file. If we have 1 year, we need to start that clock now. And we need to know what we are dealing with. Respectfully, Ambassador, shouldn't Admiral Hayes make this call? I'm making it. Open the file. Okoye exchanged glances with her colleagues. Then she reached for the keyboard. Opening file in 3, 2, 1. The screens exploded with information. Not metaphorically. Literally exploded with data streaming across every display in the lab. Images, equations, diagrams, star charts, biological schematics, technological blueprints, thousands upon thousands of files unpacking themselves in a cascading waterfall of knowledge. By the ancestors, I breathed. It was a map, a complete, comprehensive map of the galaxy, but not the galaxy as we knew it. This showed civilizations we'd never encountered, species we'd never seen, technologies that made our most advanced systems look like stone tools, and at the center of it all, marked with a pulsing red indicator, was a region of space labeled in Galactic Standard. The Watchers. Who are the Watchers? Victoria asked. I don't know, I have never heard of them. But look at the territory they control. I pointed to the display. The Watchers' space encompassed 1/3 of the galaxy. Thousands of systems, millions of worlds, and according to this map, they'd been there for over 10 million years. They have been watching us, Okoye said, her voice hollow. All of us. Every species, every civilization. Just watching and waiting. More files opened. I saw historical records, events from Earth's past, but not just the major events. Everything. The fall of Rome, the Industrial Revolution, the first powered flight, the atomic age, first contact with my people. All of it documented, recorded, observed, and not just Earth. Every species in the Galactic Council had similar records. The Keltharians, the Quelans, the Drachniths. Everyone, our entire histories laid out like specimens in a museum. How long have they been watching? I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. Okoye, hold up a timeline. According to this, they have been monitoring developing species for over 8 million years. They watch civilizations rise. They watch them fall. They never interfere. They just observe and record. Until now, Victoria said softly. Until Kane found them. Or until they wanted to be found, I countered. That transmission Kane received, the coordinates. They sent it. They wanted humanity to come to them. But why? Why reveal themselves now? The answer came in the form of another file opening. This one was a video. The image was crystalline clear, shot from multiple angles simultaneously. It showed a vast structure floating in the void of deep space. Not a ship, not a station, something else entirely. A construct of impossible geometry that hurt to look at, angles that shouldn't exist, dimensions that folded in on themselves. And in front of this structure stood a being, humanoid in shape, but clearly not human, or Keltharian, or anything I'd ever seen. Its skin seemed to shift between states of matter, solid one moment, energy the next. Its eyes, if they were eyes, glowed with an internal light that suggested thoughts fove at speeds incomprehensible to mortal minds. When it spoke, the voice came from everywhere and nowhere. It bypassed our ears entirely and resonated directly in our minds. Humanity, you have reached the threshold. The point at which a species either ascends to join the greater community of the cosmos, or destroys itself in ignorance and fear. We are the Watchers. We have observed your kind since you first looked up at the stars and wondered. We have seen your wars, your atrocities, your cruelties. But we have also seen your compassion, your creativity, your unyielding determination to reach beyond your grasp. The being moved, and reality seemed to move with it. Every species reaches this threshold. Most fail. They turn inward, they fight among themselves, they consume their worlds and die in the darkness of their own making. A few succeed, they pass the test. They join us. The test is simple. Within 1 year, you must achieve 3 things. First, you must unite your species under a single purpose. Not government, not religion, not ideology. Purpose. A shared understanding of what you wish to become. Second, you must demonstrate mastery over your destructive impulses. We have given you knowledge in this file. Knowledge of weapons that could crack planets, energy sources that could power civilizations, technologies that could reshape reality. You must use this knowledge without destroying yourselves. Third, you must make contact with 3 hostile species in the galaxy and achieve peaceful resolution with each. The being's form solidified slightly, becoming more defined. These three tasks are not separate, they are one. Unity without peace is tyranny. Peace without wisdom is naivety. Wisdom without unity is useless. You must achieve all three or achieve none. Your Commander Kane has seen what awaits those who pass. She has seen the community of ascended species, the wonders we have built, the mysteries we explore, the threats we face together. She has also seen what happens to those who fail. The ruins of civilizations that chose war over peace, extinction over evolution, fear over hope. We have placed this choice before 427 species in the history of the galaxy. 17 have succeeded. 410 have failed. You are the 428th. Your year begins now. We will be watching. We are always watching. The video ended. The lab was so quiet I could hear my own heart's beating. All four of them, hammering against my chest like they were trying to escape. Victoria spoke first, her voice barely above a whisper. We need to tell the Admiral. We need to tell everyone. I said, Victoria, this isn't just about humanity anymore. Those three hostile species they mentioned, they are out there right now, part of the galactic community. And if humans are supposed to make peace with them, that affects all of us. The Council needs to know. She agreed. But Vorthak, what if humanity fails? What if we can't unite? What if we use those weapons they have given us and tear ourselves apart? Then 17 ascended civilizations become 17, and 410 failed ones become 411. And the galaxy moves on without you. It sounded harsh. It was harsh. But it was also the truth. Admiral Hayes took the news about as well as could be expected, which is to say he went pale, sat down heavily, and stared at the wall for a full minute before speaking. They gave us weapon schematics, he said finally, planet-killer weapons, as a test, to see if you will use them, I confirmed. To see if when given the power to destroy you choose instead to build. That's insane. That's completely insane. What kind of species does that? The kind that survived for 10 million years, Victoria said. The kind that's seen civilizations rise and fall for longer than we can comprehend. Admiral, they are not being cruel. They are being pragmatic. Any species that can't resist the temptation of ultimate power will eventually destroy itself anyway. They are just accelerating the timeline. He stood, pacing. 1 year. Unite humanity. Master our destructive impulses. Make peace with 3 hostile species. And do all of it while keeping this information from causing mass panic. About that, I said carefully. Admiral, the Galactic Council needs to know. This affects more than just humanity. Those hostile species the Watchers mentioned, they are members of the Council. Our test involves the entire galactic community. Which species? I'd been studying the data files. The Chromath Hive, the Sylvan Collective, and the Borderland clans. Hughes closed his eyes. Of course, the 3 species that have been agitating for human expulsion from the Council. The 3 that claim we are too young, too aggressive, too unpredictable to be trusted. Now you have to prove them wrong, I said, while simultaneously proving the Watchers right. No pressure. Vorthak, your sarcasm is not helping. My sarcasm is the only thing keeping me from running back to my ship and fleeing to the far side of the galaxy. Let me have this. Despite everything, Hayes almost smiled. Fine. You have earned it. Now, how do we do this? How does humanity unite in 1 year when we have spent our entire history fighting among ourselves? Victoria pulled up a holographic display. We start with the truth. Admiral, we can't keep this secret. We need to tell people. All people. Every human in the galaxy needs to know what's at stake. That could cause panic, riots, chaos, or it could cause unity, I suggested. Humans are strange. You fight each other constantly, but the moment an outside threat appears, you band together. It's one of your more admirable qualities, actually. Annoying, but admirable. He's right, Victoria said. Look at the first contact wars. We were fighting among ourselves until we met the Drachmiths. Then suddenly Earth's nations forgot their differences and worked together. We need that again. But this time, the threat isn't war, it's extinction. Hayes considered this. If we tell everyone, the Council will know. Every species will know. That could destabilize everything. The Council already suspects something, I said. Your military blackout didn't go unnoticed. And when Kane and her crew wake up, they will have stories to tell. Better to control the narrative than let spread. When they wake up, Hayes repeated. Any word on their condition? As if summoned by the question, an alert chimed. Hayes pulled up the communication. Admiral, this is Medical Bay 7. Commander Kane is awake. And sir, she's asking for you. And for the Keltharian observer, we found Kane sitting up in a medical bed, looking far more composed than someone who'd been unconscious for hours had any right to be. Her gray eyes tracked our approach with laser focus. Admiral. Vorthak. I assume you have seen the file. We have seen it, Hayes confirmed. Commander, what happened out there? What did you experience? Kane swung her legs off the bed, ignoring the protests of the medical staff. We arrived at the coordinates, found the Watcher structure. It was unlike anything I can describe. We were scanned, analyzed, judged. Then we were shown things. Admiral, they showed us the future. Both futures. The one where we succeed and the one where we fail. And, Victoria prompted, the successful future is beautiful. Humanity spreading across the stars, not as conquerors but as partners. Working with species we haven't even met yet. Solving problems we can't imagine. Building things that would seem like magic to us now. I saw my great-great-grandchildren walking on worlds in other galaxies. I saw peace that lasts millennia. And the failure? I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted to know. Kane's expression darkened. Earth silent and dead. Our colonies destroyed not by the Watchers, by ourselves, by our own weapons, our own fear, our own inability to see beyond our differences. I watched humanity extinguish itself in nuclear fire while the Watchers simply observed and recorded. Another failed species. Another cautionary tale. The room fell silent. They made me watch both futures 1,000 times, Kane continued. Made my crew watch them, burned the images into our minds so we'd never forget, so we'd understand exactly what's at stake. Then they sent us back with a simple message. Choose. You could have refused, Hayes said quietly. You could have told them to take their test and their ultimatum and shove it into the nearest black hole. Kane smiled, that same knowing smile from the video feed. No, Admiral, I couldn't, because they showed me one more thing. They showed me what happens if we refuse the test. If we say no and walk away, what happens? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We continue as we are, living our lives, building our societies, spreading through the stars, for about 300 years. Then we encounter a species called the Devourers, an aggressive, expansionist race that views all other life as resources to be consumed. And without the knowledge, the unity and the partnerships that passing the test would give us, humanity dies. Every last human, extinct within a decade of first contact. I felt my blood run cold. They are forcing your hand. They are giving us a choice, Kane corrected. Take the test now with a year to prepare and a chance to survive, or refuse it and die later unprepared and alone. Either way, the test comes. The only question is whether we face it on our terms or theirs. Hayes sat down slowly. So we have no choice. We always have a choice, Admiral. That's the point. Free will. The ability to choose our destiny. The Watchers aren't making us do anything. They are showing us the consequences of our choices and letting us decide. That's more than most species get. 3 hostile species, Victoria said. The Chromath, the Sylvans, and the Borderland clans. Commander, how are we supposed to make peace with species that actively hate us? Kane stood, stretching muscles that had been unconscious for hours, the same way we do everything else. We figure it out, we adapt, we convince them that our survival benefits them. And if that doesn't work, we find another way. Because humans are nothing if not creative, when backed into a corner. And the weapons? I asked. The technology they have given you? We lock it down, secure it, study it. But we don't build it. Not unless we absolutely have to. The test isn't about having the power, it's about not using it. Hayes nodded slowly. I need to address the human military, then the civilian government, then the entire species. Vorthak, I need you to contact the Galactic Council. Tell them what's happening. Be honest, be direct, and make it clear that humanity is going to pass this test. But we need their cooperation with the 3 hostile species. Admiral, the Council is going to panic. 3 species being asked to make peace with humans as part of some cosmic test. That's going to raise questions. Lots of questions. Then we answer them. Honestly. Completely. We are done with secrets. Done with hiding. If humanity is going to unite, we start by being united in our openness. I looked at this human, this admiral who'd just been told his species had 1 year to achieve what most species couldn't do in a millennium, and I saw something I'd never quite seen before in a human. Absolute certainty. Not arrogance. Not bravado. Just the calm, unshakable conviction that this was possible. That humanity would find a way, and maybe, just maybe, they would. I will contact the council. I said, but Hayes, I'm going to recommend something that might surprise you. What's that? I'm going to recommend that the council help you, actively, directly, because if humanity fails, the devourers come eventually, and if the Watchers are right, they will tear through the galaxy like a fire through dry grass. Your survival isn't just about you anymore. It's about all of us. Kane smiled. Welcome to the team, Vorthak. Don't make me regret this. The next few weeks were the most chaotic, terrifying, and strangely hopeful period I'd ever experienced. Hayes addressed the human military, laying out the situation with brutal honesty. Then he addressed the civilian governments. Then he broadcast to every human colony, station, and ship in known space. The reaction was, predictably, mixed. Panic, denial, anger, but also, surprisingly, determination. Humans, it turned out, really did rally when facing extinction. I contacted the Galactic Council. That conversation went about as well as expected, which is to say it was a disaster that somehow turned into an opportunity. The Council demanded proof. I gave them access to the Watcher files. They analyzed. They debated. They argued. And then, shockingly, they agreed to help. Not out of altruism. Out of survival. The Devourers were real. The Watchers' records proved it. And if humanity failed and the Devourers came, the entire galaxy would suffer. The 3 hostile species were harder to convince. The Chromath Hive saw humanity as dangerous upstarts. The Sylvan Collective viewed humans as ecological disasters in the making. The Borderland clans simply didn't trust Henkum, who wasn't born in the Borderlands, but slowly, painfully, progress was made. Negotiations began. Compromises were offered. Understanding, grudging, and incomplete started to form. 6 months in, humanity achieved political unity. Not a single government, but a unified purpose. The survival of the species above all else. It wasn't perfect. There were still disagreements, still conflicts, but the fighting stopped. The wars ended. Humanity spoke with one voice for the first time in its history. 8 months in, the Chromath Hive agreed to a peace treaty. The terms were complex, involving resource sharing and territorial agreements, but it was peace, real lasting peace. 10 months in, the Sylvan Collective followed suit. They were convinced not by words, but by actions. Humans began massive ecological restoration projects on their own worlds, proved they could be responsible stewards. The Sylvans, seeing this, agreed to coexistence. 11 months in, with only weeks remaining, the Borderland clans remained hostile. Negotiations had stalled. Time was running out. And then Kane did something brilliant. She challenged the Borderland clan leader to single combat. Not to the death. Not even to surrender. Just to understanding. A duel where the winner got to explain their position, uninterrupted for 1 hour. The loser had to listen. The clan leader, a warrior named Grath who'd fought in 100 battles, accepted. He thought he'd win easily. Humans were soft, weak, unsuited for real combat. Kane beat him in 90 seconds. Then she helped him up, sat him down, and talked. For 1 hour, she explained humanity. The mistakes, the triumphs, the desperate hope for a better future. She showed him the visions the Watchers had given her. Both futures. The beautiful and the terrible. Grath listened. Really listened. And when the hour was done, he extended his hand. Peace. The third peace. Achieved with days to spare. Now I stand in the assembly hall of Station Olympus, watching as representatives from across the galaxy gather. The year is ending. In 3 hours the Watchers will return for their answer. Kane stands at the podium, calm and composed. Hayes is beside her, Victoria too, and representatives from the Chromath Sylvans and the Borderlands. Unite. The Watcher appears exactly on schedule. The same impossible being, existing in dimensions I can't fully perceive. Humanity, your year has ended. Have you completed the test? Kane steps forward. We have, Humanity stands united in purpose. We have mastered the weapons you gave us by choosing not to build them. And we have made peace with the 3 species you designated. You believe you have passed. I know we have. The Watcher seems to consider this. Then it does something I don't expect. It laughs. Not mockery. Joy. 18, it says, 18 successful species. Humanity is the 18th. Welcome, children of Earth, to the greater community. Welcome to the stars. And just like that, everything changes. The Watchers don't just welcome humanity. They open their archives, share their knowledge, introduce us to the 17 other ascended species. Beings of incredible diversity and power, all working together to explore the cosmos, to push back the darkness, to face the threats that lurk in the deep void. The Devourers are real. They are coming. But now humanity won't face them alone. None of us will. I watch as Kane shakes hands with a being made of living light, as Hayes discusses military strategy with a consciousness that exists as distributed quantum particles, as Victoria negotiates trade agreements with entities that experience time backwards. And I think about how close it came, how humanity almost failed, how the galaxy almost lost its newest, strangest, most frustratingly brilliant member. But they didn't fail. They passed. They chose hope over fear, unity over division, peace over war. Humans. Ridiculous, emotional, impossible humans. I wouldn't have bet on them a year ago. I'm glad I was wrong. The stars are quieter now. But it's not the silence of absence. It's the silence of anticipation, of potential, of a galaxy that just got a little bit brighter because one stubborn species refused to give up. Commander Alexis Kane vanished for 3 days and came back with a message that saved her species. And the stars? They are not quiet anymore. They are singing. A new voice added to the chorus of the cosmos. Humanity has joined the song, and I, for one, can't wait to hear what they sing next.